Greetings, dear viewers. Today, I am extremely honored to welcome and introduce Dr. Neera Singh, a very enterprising personality, to our channel IIMT Open House. So, to give a brief uh, introduction about her enterprise, the ProCyto Labs. Okay, Dr. Neera Singh is the founder and CEO of ProCyto Labs, a biotech startup in Bhubaneswar. The company is incubated in KIIT-Technology Business Incubator, KIIT University. ProCyto Labs is Startup India and Startup Odisha recognized and has received its first funding support from Startup Odisha in 2021 as a product development grant of rupees 15 lakhs to develop a LAMP-based sepsis detection kit. ProCyto Labs has recently been awarded BIG-BIRAC grant under 18th call to the tune of rupees 50 lakhs for developing a novel eye formulation for chronic eye allergies. The focus of ProCyto Labs is on healthcare diagnostics, molecular biology research products, and teaching kits for college students. ProCyto Labs also conducts regular training programs and workshops to impart biotech skills to the students of Odisha. Coming to her educational background, Dr. Neera Singh completed her Master in Biotechnology from Kurukshetra University. After working in IIT Mumbai, she completed her PhD in Maternal and Child Health from National Institute of Research in Reproductive Health, Mumbai, on a ICMR Fellowship. After PhD, she worked in one of the prestigious cancer institutes, MD Anderson Cancer Center in Houston, Texas, USA. In the year 2011, she moved back to Odisha with her husband, Dr. Tushar K, Beuria, who received a prestigious grant, Ramalingaswamy Fellowship, from Government of India. Dr. Neera, after working in KIIT Biotechnology Department and completing a DBT-BioCare research project on oral cancer proteomics in Institute of Life Sciences, she decided to start her own biotech venture in Bhubaneswar, as there was no biotech or life sciences companies in the state. She also did her MBA from Symbiosis, Pune, in education administration. She is a professional scientific writer and medical editor and have written book chapters with Dr. Sanghamitra Pati, the director of RMRC, on oral cancer diagnostics and maternity waiting home in Odisha. As visiting faculty, she takes classes on scientific writing and communication and taught nanotechnology in medicine to M.Tech students at Central Institute of Petrochemicals Engineering and Technology, CIIT Bhubaneswar. Dear Madam, it is one of the best profiles I have ever come through. Madam, I am very delighted to welcome you to our platform. So my first question to you will be, what inspired you to develop your idea of setting up the ProCyto Labs?
Good morning. It's indeed my pleasure to be here, and if my experience can give some valuable feedback to your students. So basically, as you see from my profile, that after finishing my PhD, I worked in US, and basically my husband is from Odisha, and he wanted to come back. So I'm basically from north side, and when I have some idea that if I go to Bhubaneswar, probably there are not many job options for me in biotechnology. So when he decided to move on this prestigious fellowship, I thought like maybe let's go there. So I moved to Bhubaneswar, and I went to KIIT because KIIT University is quite big and they have a lot of opening that time. So I joined there although I was not very much interested into academics as such. And so I joined, but I didn't like it. Then I went to Novartis Hyderabad. Then I came back and I worked on a temporary project in ILS. But over the time, I didn't enjoy these jobs for some or the other reason. First of all, they were not permanent job, and then I was not really into academics, not much interested. And so there were no biotech companies, so and I would wanted to stick to together as a family, so I didn't want to move to Hyderabad, Bangalore separately working, and because I have a family also. So so when I was working in ILS, that was the time I think that I should do something, start something of my own, because there's no biotech scenario as such in terms of corporate or industries here in Odisha at that time. So and since I have moved from US, I have been thinking about the same thing, but then I didn't have that courage, because because of the family, I have a small daughter, and was just thinking what should I do, and it takes a lot of preparation. Suddenly you can't think and start a company like that. So and while working in different places, and when I made up my mind that this is these jobs I didn't want to continue. So this is the only thing which probably I always wanted to be during that period of time, moving jobs and all. I realized that I wanted to lead, basically. So I wanted a position where I have the freedom to think and execute on my own ideas and projects, because while working in academics, you always have you're in a temporary job, you have a lot of limitations, you can't do something. So these are the two things. First of all, there was a requirement in our state of there's no biotech industry. There was a need, and second thing is, like, it was my strong desire basically to lead. By that time I want to be very independent and do something with a very strong head. So I thought that this is the best option, and that is when I founded the company in 2018. I was working in ILS, and in 2019 I started my lab, which is incubated in KIIT TBI. So this is how it started. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. This is very interesting, your idea development phase. Ma'am, the second question would be, what challenges did you face when you first start your business?
So, since we have been thinking and discussing, to start a biotech company is not something like, you can start a IT company, you just need a laptop and some ideas in your mind. But in a biotech industry, it's a life sciences research, you need a lab first. And you need a lab, you need the equipments, you need the reagents, and all these things are very expensive, and especially in molecular biology sector, if you see. So definitely funding was the main thing, and that we already have been discussing, because to start a company you need money. Anyways, any business you start, you need money firsthand, and generally as a company, most of people start as a bootstrap, like they put their own funding. So we started with a funding of 5 lakhs, and definitely that was the biggest challenge. Because since at least in Bhubaneswar, the good point was that they have an incubator. KIIT TBI is a biotech incubator. I knew about it, but then their rent was a little high that time, and I have worked in KIIT, so I constantly talked to them and negotiated them, and they were very supportive, that they will support if you start. So definitely funding was the main issue, and still it is the main issue. And I'm sure that although as a company we have relatively a lot of success in terms of getting funding and all that, but still it is a main concern, because once we have to grow and move out of the incubator, you have to buy a land, build a building and get the equipments. And so funding is and will always be the main issue, especially in biotechnology sector, at least for next 7 to 10 years, because that is the incubation time or gestation period for any biotech company to become profitable. So there will be a lot of investment required, whether you take it from investors or you invest in your own money. So definitely funding is the main
Yes, sir.
thing.
When we talk about incubation, our institute also has an incubation cells, particularly to develop this type of entrepreneurship culture among students. So, ma'am, but we are not that big like KIIT. Therefore, we are trying in that field also, our institute. And like you said, funding was the main issue. Ma'am, that was my third question actually. But if would you like to add something like how did you obtain your funding for your company or how the procedure like that?
So the first of all thing, the good thing about incubator nowadays is that they will charge you very nominally your rent. Let's say if you want to rent out a 2 BHK or 3 BHK outside as a just to start with your office and space and all, it will cost you 20, 30, 40,000 depending on the area which it is. And biotech industry has to operate in a setting where you have all the compliances for environment waste disposable in place, because we do a lot of hazardous thing, the biological waste and all. So we cannot just start anywhere. So having a KIIT TBI was sort of a boon for me, because I knew them and they have a very good setup. And it saved my lot of cost of my monthly rent. So it's a very nominal rate depending on what how much space you want. They have all the facilities, and as I said, I started with my own funding of 5 lakhs, and that's just the basic thing to buy few small things and hire one first of my team member. And then so this is how basically all the startup, I think, starts with their own funding first, whether it is 2 lakhs or 5 lakhs or 10 lakhs depending on how much you can invest. And then of course we got recognition from Startup Odisha, and we applied for funding. We have this BIG-BIRAC funding from Department of Biotechnology. So that has been a great support. And basically, as I said, we first started with our own funding of 5 lakhs. Then once we were incubated, and we had few plans that what we are going to do in the company, and we know how much money we are going to require. So after getting recognition from Startup Odisha, so actually Startup Odisha have a lot of schemes for entrepreneurs in every sector, in all the sector. So we applied for a product development scheme of approximately 15 lakhs. Okay, so we applied for that. We put up our ideas and what we are going to do, and um, we actually started in 2019, and in 2020 when the lockdown was announced, that time we got the funding. So we got the funding, but we couldn't start working because we had to work in the lab. But yes, that funding was a very great help, because we could buy a lot of our reagents and equipments, and it was a great support to have a small setup of our lab. And then after that, we started making some products. Of course, COVID has impacted our business, because we couldn't go out, we couldn't get many reagents and chemicals which we needed. And so we did a lot of writing and a lot of planning, and we have to redo all the strategies that what we are going to do, because it was very unpredictable that how long it is going to last. And no business can execute when we are starting in just one restricted to one place. So basically, during that time, I got another idea. In fact, two more ideas which we got funding for, from one on from ICMR, another from BIG-BIRAC. So these two ideas, while reading, and as a biotech company, you need to think of innovative ideas, and you need to identify the problem and what solution you can provide. So we have a funding from BIG-BIRAC on developing a novel eye formulation, which is kind of an allergen blocker gel, that it will block the entry of allergen and pollutant into the eye, which cause allergies. And another is on autism detection, early detection of autism using artificial intelligence. We got this funding from ICMR with the RMRC, and we are developing these two ideas. So this funding is of around 30 lakhs. From BIG, we got 50 lakhs, and that is a great support for us, because and the project and our ideas are going very well. So once we have the successful product, we can commercialize them, and these are new novel products. Apart from that, from this support, we actually could have our own lab set up, and we can make more products to sell. Yeah, because as a scientist and as a biotech entrepreneur, you need to basically identify the problems. There are a lot of schemes from government in biotechnology and life sciences, from ICMR, from DBT, from DST. So that is one good part, being in science, because that government has a lot of ideas, a lot of schemes, and a lot of in fact, Startup Odisha is also a great support. That funding, initial funding of 15 lakhs was a huge support for us to at least kickstart our activities.
Yes, ma'am. This is very lucidly said, ma'am. This is very nice, very informative information we got to know. Madam, so my next question would be, what aspect of becoming an entrepreneur is the most enjoyable?
Freedom.
Yes, ma'am.
Freedom, and yes, this is what I enjoy, that as a scientist, we spend all our life in being in science, thinking and doing things. And once you're in a job, you are restricted because you have to teach, you have to be restricted in certain area. As a biotech entrepreneur, in a company, I'm working on autism. We are developing a lamp diagnostic kit for sepsis infection. We are working on side formulation. So we are touching all aspects of healthcare, like pharma and molecular biology. We are making teaching kits. We are, as a passion, I am at least training 1 to 2 students every month, at least for 3 months. And I'm very happy that these students are getting placed in Hyderabad and Bangalore in good companies. So that is a great satisfaction. So I could do whatever I want. So the freedom of thoughts and execution is the most enjoyable thing in this journey, although it is tough and it's a lot of stress is there, but that is something which motivates me, because that I can do whatever I like to do.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. So, what aspect of success have you come to see differently over time? Uh,
uh, Success, I think, is something a lot of people will measure in terms of profit, that how much money you have generated, or so definitely that is one part. But for me, success is something like when students or a lot of students from all over India, they know our journey. I like to write and share my stories. And when these students either whom we are training, although training is not our objective, but then we have trained 5 6 students, and when they are getting placed and they write a message to me that this thing what you taught us is very helpful for us, and they give the credit to our team and our company, what we have taught them, that is something which I relate is success. Because I mean, as a business, of course, money is important, revenue is important, generating funding is important. But for me, as a scientist, I believe this is something when a lot of students are applying to our company. A lot of them don't know that they're a startup, but then they like to be part of our team. They would like to join us even as a startup. So that is something which I feel, and retaining my employees. Like I have two employees since last 3 years, and they have stood by me. They are with me. That is something which I feel that okay, I'm I have some kind of a success level achieved, or they are happy and satisfied. Whoever it is, either we are training or they are my team members, if they are happy and satisfied working with me, that is something which I will say is success for me or
yes,
for the company. Yes.
yes. Ma'am, any advice would you like to give to the students?
I think what I would suggest students is that, since you are from a management school also, that you know if you want to do something, you should just do it. And develop some passion to do something. That is something which I would like to do. Because I'm not saying that everyone has to start a company, but this if you I mean, develop some interest or passion to do something in life, and that will take you, because having a passion, being ambitious is something which is going to make you successful, because then you follow it, then you do hard work, then you follow all the course. So, what I see from, like, if I also teach, in different places, sometimes I feel that in newer generation, the passion is lacking. So, to develop the passion for anything, whatever it is, it can be small, it can be big. As we say that, we see that a lot of IIMs are producing students who are opening a tea shop or whatever. So you just have to have a passion for something. Developing passion during your career is very important, because ultimately that is going to be with you, and then only you can be successful if you follow your passion. So I'm saying that you don't have to follow the career, but you have to develop it. And you also, as a teacher, you also have to, motivate them that कुछ होना चाहिए, like कि कुछ करना है. That thing should be there, because then only you will follow the path of working hard, applying somewhere, going somewhere. एक benchmark रखना है कि ये करना है और यहाँ जाना है. Then only you can work towards it. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for sparing your valuable time for us, and I really appreciate your prolific articulation of your thoughts, ma'am. I am really thank you, ma'am. In any time in my dealings or in some communication, if I have made some errors, then I sincerely seek apology, ma'am. Thank you for joining you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Signing off, ma'am.
Bye.
Bye.